Hello everyone, ShadowRock here with a Nintendo Switch 2 update for Mega Man games. That's right, the console came out a couple of days ago, and as promised, I got right to testing a bunch of Mega Man games on it. And I did all of that live with you guys on the live stream. The VODs are available on the channel if you want to check them out yourself. Gee, ShadowRock, why don't you just play Mario Kart or something? Who cares about playing old Mega Man games on the Switch 2? What? Well, guess what? I care. So, let's talk about what I found while testing all this stuff. Let's start with the problem child, or what we thought was going to be the problem child, Mega Man Legacy Collection 1. Ever since April up until the launch, there was a note on the backwards compatibility page for Nintendo Switch 2 saying that Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 had, quote, in-game issues. They never went into detail what that was. My personal guess is it has something to do with the emulator that Digital Eclipse developed for Mega Man Legacy Collection, since there was another Digital Eclipse collection on that list, which was Street Fighter 30th Anniversary. And I had every intention to test out Legacy Collection on launch day and see what was going on. However, I guess Capcom beat me to the punch because it's already been fixed. If you go to the Nintendo eShop on your Switch 2 and take a look at the Mega Man Legacy Collection page, there will be a new note there saying Nintendo Switch 2 compatibility supported. Game behavior is consistent with Nintendo Switch. Previously identified issues have been resolved with an update. Now, I did notice when I first got my Switch 2, I have a physical copy of Legacy Collection 1. I popped in the cartridge and it did download an update once I did that, but I wasn't sure if that was an old update or not. Apparently that was a new update because yeah, I tested a few games on there during the live stream and everything was fine. Everything worked as expected. Awesome. And in general, that was my experience with every Mega Man game I tried on the Switch 2. Everything was consistent with the Switch 1 version. That even includes input lag. I got a question in the comments on my community post about input lag, and from what I could tell, yeah, it's pretty much the same as it was before. I could still feel a significant input delay while playing the classic Legacy Collection 1. Then when I switched to X Legacy Collection, the 32-bit games X7 and X8 felt fine, but just as before, if you go to the Super Nintendo games, I could feel a tiny bit of lag, nothing unplayable, but it's there. After all, the classic and X Legacy collections were emulated collections, so when you're emulating something, you're always going to get input delay no matter what you do, unfortunately. That's why the ShadowRockZX Legacy Collection is so great, because those are source ports, so the input latency is 1-to-1, perfect, chef's kiss. But yeah, on the whole, you can expect every game to run as it does on the Switch 1, just maybe a bit smoother now, just thanks to the more powerful hardware giving us a higher performance ceiling. Like when I was playing new games such as Mega Man 11, I experienced no lag or anything, everything was smooth as butter. I even tried going into Gigabolt Manowar stage in Mega Man X8 and trying that out because I know it lags quite a bit on the PS2, but nope, everything was full frames, no hitches whatsoever. It was great. But then again, I remember the Switch 1 handled that stage just fine as well, so maybe that's not a big deal. In all honesty, the only noticeable differences I could find had to do with the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. On the PET-like main menu, the background animation ran a little bit slower compared to, say, the Steam version, and whereas on Steam, the collection loads into a game pretty much instantaneously, on Switch 1, you had to wait quite a few seconds in order to get into a game or to reset the game. Also, whenever you did load a game, the background would freak out a little bit. On Switch 2, that background animation runs way smoother now, and no longer freaks out when you load into a game, and the load times are like 2 seconds less than before. Like, there is still a load time there, but it is a little bit faster at least. It's nothing to write home about or a reason to go out and buy a Switch 2 right now, but it's nice to see nonetheless. Oh, and I guess if you were curious how online battles work, I did test that on the Switch too. It's pretty much the same as before. If your opponent has a decent internet connection, you're gonna have a pretty okay time. If they don't, well, good luck. And unfortunately, the Switch 2 isn't going to fix the severe lack of net battlers out there on the net. So that's all I could find testing Mega Man games on the Switch 2 so far, but perhaps I missed something. So if you have a Switch 2 and you find any interesting differences playing Mega Man games, why don't you leave a comment down below and let us know. The good news is everything works. For the next 8 years or however long the Switch 2 era lasts, this platform is still going to be one heck of a Mega Man machine. Maybe not as good as a Steam Deck, mind you, since Steam Deck has access to pretty much every retro library. But in terms of official releases, yeah, you got all of the Legacy collections, hopefully more if Star Force or Legends happens, Mega Man 11, Battle and Fighters, Power Battles and Fighters thanks to the Capcom second arcade stadium, and don't forget the Nintendo Switch Online games, Mega Man The Wily Wars, and all 5 of the classic Game Boy games. Let's just hope they keep adding more Mega Man stuff to NSO. Hey, we just got GameCube on Switch too. It sure would be a dream come true for me to have Command Mission and Network Transmission on there, with the resolution enhancements that the rest of the games are getting. Ooh-wee, that would be the day. But until that day comes, we'll keep dreaming over here. And thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to ShadowRockZX for more on Mega Man on the Switch 2, if anything ever comes of it. I don't know. Like I said, all we can do is dream. And stay tuned for all things Mega Man otherwise as well. Until the next one, folks, rock on and have yourselves a great time zone.